Hey, welcome back to another episode of Elm Elaborates. It is Season 2, Episode 19. We are going to be talking about retail to rentals, talking about the Danville Project. And I am joined here with Levi Hemingway. Ryan is out.
Yes, he is.
See that little bundle.
Yep.
But we are here with the man, the myth that actually led, Danville. And I know zero about it because this was,
I was before your time.
Yeah, way before my time. So. Yeah. This is going to be eye-opening for me. I'm going to be on the edge of my seat the entire time.
Oh, gosh.
So I'm super excited to just dive into Danville.
Danville?
Can you tell me more about it?
Yes. Well, thanks for having me back.
Yes.
I'm excited because I've done a couple of podcasts with Ryan, but never with Cameron.
That's true.
Cameron and I are known as the hype men around
the
office.
That is very true.
We bring a lot of good energy. We feed off of each other there. So, super stoked to be here. A couple minutes ago, we're getting ready for this, and it's been so long since we converted Danville that I was trying to remember, just the ins and outs of it because we have, we've done so many amazing projects, and I was thinking about, what happened with Danville as I was thinking about it, and then as we were just kind of getting prepped, it's like, oh my gosh, I forgot that happened. So it started all flooding back. So yeah, I'm kind of excited to unpack Danville. And just kind of talk about it. It was a fun project.
Steps of orders, where did Danville fall for Elm? Was it Danville the first, or was it the third, or where exactly
Danville
was
the second project we did.
Dang.
Yeah. So we were very, very green, literally, the color of our shirts. Why do you think we chose green? No. So Danville, Virginia was the second project that we did at Nomad Capital.
Okay.
So our first project we did was in Reidsville, which is about 20 minutes from Danville.
Okay.
So that was our first Kmart. We had a broker come to us and said, hey, I've got this Kmart in Reidsville, North Carolina. Now, Reidsville, we're not talking about Reidsville, but Reidsville is right in between Greensboro and Danville, Virginia.
Okay.
So it's about 20 minutes north of Greensboro, and that's, about 20 minutes south of Danville. So we found this Kmart, went there, and Reidsville is kind of some people around that area are like, oh, Reidsville, why are you going investing in there? And so when we looked at that first Kmart, Reidsville is sort of a sleepier town, but we have what we call the feels when we're looking at a new project.
I do know the feels.
And so the feels are, as you have come to know being on the Elm team,
yes.
right? We check stuff when we're going into a new market. We're checking stuff like, is there a new brewery in? How are the street signs? Have they been updated?
Yep.
So is there sort of signs of life, right? COVID changed a lot of things for these smaller towns, and a lot of people have been migrating to sort of these smaller markets outside of bigger markets, right? Cost of living is a little bit cheaper. You can get some affordable real estate. I mean, as we've seen here in Wilmington, it's just so expensive, right? And so, you have these major metros, you have these big cities, and then you have smaller towns and pockets around them that are, if you look at the 10-year data on them, they're not been growing like a Raleigh or Greensboro.
Yep.
But there's been a lot of changes over the past couple of years we're seeing, and a lot of people are talking about, that's not really being reflected in the data right now. So,
okay.
So anyways, I'm getting sidetracked, but Reidsville was our first Kmart that we took down. Okay. My dad went to an NCSSA show, which was a North Carolina Self-Storage Association meetup, right?
Okay.
Everybody's talking self-storage. We're a part of it in the states that we operate in. And so he goes to this meetup, or it's a conference, and my dad's a master networker, as you know. I mean, he'll just strike up a conversation with anybody.
Yep.
And so talked to a broker there and said, the guy was like, hey, what have you guys been up to? He'd known him a couple years before, and he said, what are you guys up to? And my dad said, we're actually converting this Kmart in Reidsville. He's like, Reidsville? What are you doing in Reidsville? And he's like, yeah, we think it's a great market. We're close to Greensboro. And the broker was like, I'm super bullish on Reidsville. He was like, oh my gosh, that's a great call.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, all right.
Let's go.
Well, thanks. And he said, I've got some clients that are going to convert a Kmart in Danville, Virginia, but they're not sure if they want to do the conversion or if they just want to sell it. Can I put you in touch with them? My dad was like, yeah, sure. I mean, this is early days of Nomad. We just closed Reidsville. The idea of syndication, raising capital, building the team, we're in our green days, right? And so we just taken down Reidsville, and then it's like, hey, here's another Kmart. And we're like, oh my gosh, I don't know if we can do it, but yeah, let's talk to these guys, right?
Who's on the team at this time? It's you?
It's me, my dad, Drake, Drew, and Josh Blackham.
That's it.
And that's
Not
it.
even John yet.
John was on.
Okay,
John
John's
was on,
there, okay.
but John was not on payroll yet. He was still a subcontractor.
Gotcha. Okay.
So we had subbed him out. So he wasn't officially. I mean, he was a part of our team, but he wasn't on. He wasn't on the team. So we had the skeleton crew, right? And it was all right. So and Clinton and Neil were with us as well.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So sorry. We had a few of us. we had enough to be dangerous, which is exactly what we did. So anyways, the broker says, hey, I've got this project in Danville. Can I connect you with the guys? We said, yeah, great. So he just, he's a rock star broker, one of our top guys. Shout out John Lindsay. He's just been absolutely providing nothing but value to us for years and years to come, has never asked for anything. He's just the guy you want in your corner, right? And so anyway, so he connects us with them. We strike up a conversation. The guys that were developing it or were going to develop it, they were older. They were, in their 70s, and they're like, yeah, they had been developing. They had a huge rap sheet. They'd done all kinds of really cool projects in their careers. And they were like, we're going to develop it, but like if you want to just make us an offer, like we're kind of in the way they phrase it is like we're in the fourth quarter of life and like we're not but he's like, hey, look, we're in our less like aggressive development days. Like, hey, we bought it right. If you guys want to take it off our hands, we like to help kind of young groups that are getting going. So the first site visit up there, my dad went by himself. I was tied up. He actually took my younger brother. And I remember he called me when he rode up to the building. So we're on what's called Riverside Drive in Danville. And it's a massive, massive corridor. You've got Sam's Club up the street. We have a Buffalo Wild Wings next to us. We have a cookout. It's right there in town. And he calls me and he's like, we got to buy this. Like this is it. Like this is like it was one of those properties that you drive up to and it's like, this will work for self-storage. So we met with the sellers and we went under contract. And again, this was early days, so we had no idea. We were still figuring out everything that we do here. And we were trying to manage. We still had a project going in Greensboro, so John was tied up with that. And then we had John on Reedsville, and we were becoming a little stretched thin, but it was one of those things that's like, we got to take this down. I think there's value here. So yeah, that was the early days. Second project we ever did, and it just turned out fantastic.
Explain the square footage of it and like what you guys did on the inside. Was there an elevator? I have no idea.
So this was a 100,000 square foot.
Holy smoky.
Yeah. It's a big,
for the
big
second
site.
one?
Yeah, for the second one. Well, the first one was 80,000 square feet. Which was the biggest project we'd ever done. It was like, this is massive. This is crazy. And then Danville's 100,000 square feet. And we're like, oh my gosh, it's even bigger. It's basically the big sister of Reedsville, right? But again, so Danville to Reedsville, they're 20 minutes apart. So we're like, okay, we're going to get some really good economies of scale from the GC side as well as management, all this other stuff. So it's 100,000 square feet, all one story. It's a massive building. So like when first time we walked in there, I mean, you're just looking around and it's just like, it's just huge. Like 100,000 square feet is really, really big with no walls in there, columns. But so single story, 100,000 square foot. And our plan was to just put units in there. Right now, it's our biggest facility. I think we've got like 760 units in there. So, we always say if we're going to swing, then we might as well swing big. And that was our second project ever. And it was almost an 800 unit facility, which is very, very large.
That is huge.
Yeah.
Who's your vendors at that time? So like, obviously you just did Reedsville, right?
We were starting Reedsville. Yeah, we were starting Reedsville. So we were...
Hold on, you were starting Reedsville and you're about to take on Danville?
Yeah.
Oh, and you were wrapping up Reedsville.
No. We closed... No. We were just starting demo on Reedsville when we went under contract with
Holy smokes.
So, I mean, they were a couple months apart, but not far.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
And it's you and John.
It's me and John.
Holding it down.
Yeah, doing our best. I mean, shout out to John for early days. I mean, him and I were scrambling, dude. And we were just working on it. So we were trying to build our base of subs because a lot of the subs now, or the way we source subs, or you guys source subs, is different than we used to. We were building up, like our background was residential from the years before. So we were trying to figure out, good commercial electricians that would travel. And oddly enough, in Reedsville, there's actually a decent amount of really big contractors there that do a lot of work in the Greensboro, Winston-Salem area. But again, they operate out of Reedsville because it's cheaper. They have bigger offices, warehouses, whatever. So we found some great subs in Reedsville that we said, hey, can you guys come up to Danville? And they're like, yeah, sure, we'll go up there. It's like, all right, great. So we were building our sub base. We were building our sub list. And, we just were we're just figuring it out, I mean, it was just one of those things that we're just kind of figuring out as we went along. So
all figure outable.
It's all figure outable.
That's true. Okay, so you guys started construction on this. So it's just you and John trying to tackle on 180,000 square feet, within two projects. So
then we put a third project under contract separately. But yeah, we were busy. Yep.
So usually we talk about the good and the bad that happened. What are some of the good things that happened? What are some of the bad things that you guys learned? I was wondering, were you finding things out in Reedsville and go, okay, we should look at this for Danville as well. Like, oh, no, this is an issue. Like, let's catch this early.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yes to everything.
So what were if you can remember back to Danville, what were some of the highlights? Like, okay, this is.
So one of the things that we did in Reedsville was we did a drive-through concept.
I've heard about that.
Have you been to Reedsville before?
I have not been there.
So we had this great idea, or we'd seen other groups do this, to where they literally cut a hole in the front of the building, and then they cut a hole in the back of the building, and you create a drive-through concept for a storage. So you can literally, so in Reedsville, North Carolina, City Storage Reedsville, you pull up to the front of the building, there's a massive roll-up door. You can drive straight through the building.
Just driving.
It's awesome. It is actually awesome.
Yeah.
So when we first started Nomad, we said like, hey, let's make this our signature move.
Oh, man.
Aren't you glad we didn't do that?
Yeah.
So
like the most expensive thing. Like, yeah, let's make
yeah, absolutely. So we said, hey, this will be our signature piece. Like, you'll know it's a city storage because you'll be able to drive into it.
That would be cool.
From a customer experience standpoint, our customers love it because you can pull into the building. We had to figure out exhaust fans because you think about it. You pull a car in, we had to do firewalls. It got very complex very fast and very expensive.
Yeah.
And so we said this is going to be our signature move. So we originally designed Danville. We found a local architect in Danville, Virginia. They drew the site. Well, so first of all, the guys that we bought it from, they had a building layout. They had already had it designed for storage.
Oh, nice.
They were going to take it a different way. They had some indoor RV parking, and then they had some smaller units. They were going to phase it out, and we just said, no, we got to redraw this. So found an architect, and we originally drew a drive-through concept there because we're like, hey, this is our thing, right? We got to do it again. So as we're designing that is when we were actually putting in the drive aisle at Reedsville. And we're like, oh my gosh, this is really, really expensive.
Hey, but
so we were literally like, okay, this is really expensive. And not only that, but we lose net rentable square footage because we can't rent that whole drive aisle. You know, it's 20 feet wide by the length of the building. Yeah. So a lot of rentable square footage. And we're talking to other groups, and they're saying like, hey, these drive aisles work great in maybe a colder place, you know, maybe up north or somewhere where it's raining all the time, or maybe somewhere where it's really hot, right? So you want to create this. If loading and unloading is really challenging, then you put these in.
Makes sense. Okay.
So that was kind of the first thing I would say that it was really a win is we were able to use our real live construction numbers and headache of Reedsville to directly apply it to the next project. And we changed gears halfway through the plans and we said, look, let's scratch this. Let's not do the drive aisle. I have plans with a drive aisle on it. And then we revised it. So we lost a little bit of time there, but I'm so glad that we didn't because we would have lost square footage and all that good stuff. Our basis on Reedsville was so low, so great that, you know, the project turned out fine and is all good there. So that was, I think, a win right off the bat. And that was side by side. We've got an active project where we're taking the real life data from this project and we're directly applying it and changing it. If you zoom out and look at Elm Builders and Nomad from the start, that I feel like is what we've been really good at, is looking at live data from the past project and really making changes that we need to on a project by project basis or a month by month basis.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, I will 100% agree with you. That is something we're extremely good at, is understanding these are pinch points or these are issues that we need to try to get ahead of, and then either make it an SOP or figure out how we're going to. But every project seems to have its own little unique. And that's what I love about it is we're always learning, we're getting better because every project, there's something different that we have to tackle that we're like, okay, how do we handle that? Now we got that tool in our toolbox. So if we ever come across it again, hey, if we ever need to do a drive aisle,
we know how.
We know how.
But we're recognizing that they're tools into our belt, and we're taking the time to really unpack it, because I feel like you can easily get caught up in, oh, this is the way we've done it.
Correct.
Especially in construction, right? Oh, we've always done split system HVAC, or we've always done whatever it may be. And I feel like our group has always been partially out of necessity of needing to pivot and find a better, more cost-effective solution. But we've always been willing to say, okay, this is how we have done it. Is this how we should do it?
Correct.
And so I feel like every job has been on-the-job training, if you will, but it's really taking the past project and saying, what went right, what went wrong?
Yeah.
You know, we did quote the standard, but it didn't really work that well. Let's adjust this. So
I like that approach. I mean, we're also asking why. When we get plans back, usually they're like, "Hey, this is what we're gonna do," and you're like, "Why that? Why are we doing that?" Well, that's because we've seen this. You guys have seen it. We've seen it differently. Let's change it up here. We're just always asking why. Why is that feasible? Why do we have to do that? And usually able
Why does that not work? Like, why did that not work? Or on the flip side, why did that work so well?
Yeah.
I feel like we asked that question just as much. Like, okay, that works really well. Why did that work? Like, oh, well, we did this sequence, or we hired this person, or whatever. We took the time to do X, Y, and Z. That was just an absolute on-the-job adjusting as needed. And then we redesigned the plans. We gained a lot of square footage, and that gave us a lot more units, which increased the value. So,
okay, so what all did you do at Danville? Because I'm like, so HVAC, new
HVAC, electrical,
roof.
We did not do a roof.
Okay.
So the roof we did the roof on the garden center. So the old Kmart's had the garden center on the side. That one was shot, but the main roof was in good condition. So we did HVAC, electrical, roof. We didn't have to touch the fire sprinklers, which was great. Yep, we left all the drop ceiling, so that was awesome because we keep running into these fire sprinkler issues nowadays. So let's go back to the Danville days. We left the LVT flooring, the tile flooring in there. Okay. We cleaned it. Yep, we rented a floor cleaner, and John rode that thing around for a couple of weeks, just cruising around in there, cleaning floors. I'd call him, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, I'm cleaning the floors." And I mean, just again, shout out to John, like. Him and I just absolutely were trying to figure all this out, and he just would hop on machines and equipment and just get it done. So, shout out to John Serva.
He is one of our lucky ones. We like to keep him happy.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Okay, so and then storage supplier, who was?
We were using Janus at the time. Yep. So Janus was there. They did Reedsville and Danville, and we were like, we had two big projects with them, and so we were all of a sudden like not a big client for them, but it was like. We felt like this big client, we go in there, do projects.
Like, hey, can we take you out to lunch?
Yeah, whenever, I like Mexican. I like Burger King.
Yeah.
And so Janice was doing the doors and hallways, fantastic. They were amazing to work with there. And then we found a local security guy that we actually are still using.
I was just about, hold on, what?
Yeah, that's when we found, that's when we found Mike. We found
Mike. From Danville?
Yeah, dude.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Mike did Greensboro.
Really?
Yeah, he's been with us a minute.
Gosh, yeah. It seems like we're always updating that. So, like, do we even know what system that was? Like, because I know, like, Spider Lock.
We did. So we did PTI there. That was before PTI switched to cloud-based. So we did PTI hardwire there, or PTI desktop. Another thing I just remembered. So another thing that we did at Reedsville is when we looked at the site, we said, we got to give people access from all over the spot. Okay. We need to give them as much access as they can, right? So in Reedsville, we have 13 or 14 keypadded accesses, 100%.
14?
Yes.
Keypad access points.
Yes. So we did that, again, extreme, right?
Okay.
And what was funny is, so we're picturing like you have the drive aisle.
Yeah.
Right? And our thought was, okay, the units right on the other side of these firewalls, those are going to rent first, right? Like, I mean, easy access. You can open your door. It's on the other side of that unit or on the other side of that wall. We saw the complete opposite of that happening at Reedsville, and people were reserving units like far into the facility. This is before we started blocking off our units. This is before we were really even dialing in our operations side.
Okay.
So it was like, on our website, it was like, hey, 10 by 10s, we got 200 of them available. Now.
You pick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, pick whatever one you want, right? Yeah. We got units. So now we do we take a lot of units offline. So online it shows like, hey, there's less to rent. And, we have some other things that we do. But we were seeing people reserve units further in. So Danville was a correction of, I think we have 4 entrances there, or 4 keypads there.
Okay.
Much more reasonable. That's about what we do. So we went from 14 to 4.
Yeah.
And this is before all the low voltage and wire and everything shot up from COVID. Okay. If we were to price out that now, it would have been astronomical. At the time, it was still more expensive, but again, we were new into it and trying to figure it out. So that was another thing that we kind of adjusted on the fly, was our egress and our keypads there at Danville. So
did you have to do any, because I'm not sure which one has an out parcel. Is it Reedsville or is it Danville?
Danville has a small side parcel. It's not really an out parcel. It's just a small parking lot on the side.
Not big enough for Biscuitville?
Not big enough for Biscuitville. I wish. Reedsville does. Reedsville's got a nice big parking lot, but we haven't really done anything with it yet. And you know me, I'd love to put a Biscuitville at every one of our locations. Make site visits a little bit easier.
That needs to be the staple.
I'm trying. I'm absolutely trying to do that. Yeah, unless we start our own biscuit company.
Ooh.
City Biscuits.
I'd eat that. So exterior wise, did you guys do a fence? Is this a gate? Like what is going on there?
It's pretty much We didn't do any of that.
So no outside parking?
No outside parking. We
storage?
looked at it. We looked at a couple of things, but it was becoming challenging. And we said,
Okay.
look, the facility is big enough. I mean, almost 800
Yeah.
units. It was like, if we're looking to add outside parking or exterior box walls, it's because we want to get a little more square footage.
Yep.
You know, we had the square footage there for the market. You know, it's always a balancing act for us is we don't want to go into the market and oversaturate the market. We can't, even now, if we were to go into Reidsville and put 100,000 square foot facility, it would just dilute the market, right?
Yeah.
So we're kind of playing this game of you want to have units for people, but if you have too many units, then you're just sitting there, right?
Yeah.
Then they're not renting up. And so we didn't do any exterior parking. We painted the exterior of the building. We got a massive sign on this thing. I mean, because it was a Kmart, we were able to do a huge self-storage sign. You can see it right from Riverside Drive, and it's just fantastic. So since we've opened up the facility, we've been leasing up now. In front of us, we just got a Popeyes chicken, like brand new, and the drive-through. When people are waiting in line, they're standing and they're looking
Just
straight
like
at
to
our
see-
building because they come in off the main street and they're literally sitting there looking directly at our building, which is awesome. And then beside them, they're putting in a Panda Express. Oh yeah,
That's one of my
like
favorites.
that's like the area of town. Like you can see
Okay.
Sam's Club from this building.
Yeah.
From our front door, you can see the backside of Sam's Clubs. We knew that this was going to be a good project.
Yeah.
And that my dad called me like when he rode up. He's like, "This is going to work. Like I know this will work for self storage."
Yeah. I mean,
so-
it sounds like you guys got in there extremely early because Panda, Popeyes, all these food places, they usually do a lot of market research.
Yeah.
And so did you guys have any market research? Obviously, your dad just went up there and got the feels. But was there any other data or any other market indicators?
Well, so the Caesars Casino was approved. Caesars Casino in Vegas. Virginia passed a law where they allowed casinos.
The first one?
Caesars was the first one. Yeah.
No
So they
way.
put 5 locations in Virginia. They put one in Bristol, one in Virginia Beach, one in Danville. Look it up, but yeah. Somewhere in Virginia. So that was already released. They had said, hey, Caesars is putting a $500 million casino,
Oh my gosh.
and it was a quarter mile from this site.
Really?
A quarter mile. Like, you saw the rendering. So, like, when we're under contract, we're, like, trying to do all this due diligence. It was like, yep, Caesars announced it. They bought this old mill on the top of this thing. They were going to leave the smokestack. So we just went up to Danville like a month ago. And, man, you talk about construction. Those boys threw that casino together, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's...
So anyways, so they're putting in a $500 million investment here. We're like a $5 million, total project costs and building and everything. And so we'd already seen that was coming. So that was a big driver. Not only when we drove up and we saw Cookout and Buffalo Wild Wings and Sam's Club, that was super encouraging, but we knew the casino was coming. And so we actually met with, when we opened up, we joined the Chamber of Commerce and we said, hey, who at Caesars Casino, you'll love this. We said, hey, is there anybody at the casino or that works for the casino that might need to rent out a bunch of our units in bulk to store slot machines, tables, chairs,
Chips, anything.
chips, anything. And they said, oh yeah, you need to talk to, Chris or whatever it was. So they put us in touch with somebody from Caesars. We actually toured our building with 4 people from Caesar, like Caesar shirts on.
Really?
They had
Okay.
like one of their development guys, operations guy. Like these guys are high up at Caesar's Casino.
Yeah.
And they're touring old Danville. And we never put anything together with them. We said like, look, you can take however much space you need. You can take this half of the building, that half. We'll give you 24-hour access. Because for us, we're opening up a facility with 0 rentals. We're like, we have the space.
You're right.
Like we got storage units. So anyways, that was kind of cool. But
Gosh,
we never.
that is cool. See, now I
Nothing
gotta
ever
go
happened.
up there.
Oh, the casino is absolutely
They
beautiful.
done?
Yeah, they're done with phase 1.
Dang.
So phase 1 was $500 million.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So while they were there, they put up a temporary casino in a tent
I've heard of that. Okay.
for people to start getting ready for the casino. Phase 1 was a $500 million investment, and there's a hotel there. There's a Gordon Ramsay restaurant, like in little old Danville, Virginia. Crazy growth there. So that was a big driver of what we saw there.
Yeah.
Was the casino.
Okay.
That played well into the feels. I mean, Caesars, they did their market research,
Oh, yeah.
right?
They're not,
And part of their market research we'd heard was they put it in Danville because they're hoping to attract the Raleigh, North Carolina market, the Greensboro, North Carolina market, and the Winston-Salem market. Those are 3 of our big cities there.
Yep.
And all of those drive through Reidsville, North Carolina.
Makes sense.
I-29, baby. They
Makes
drive right
sense
by
to
it.
me.
So
I
if
love
they
it.
need a storage unit on their way to Gamble, I mean, all of that, like, those aren't our renters, but it's just the growth. There's
Yeah.
stuff that's going to happen there.
Oh, yeah.
And those both facilities have been awesome. We're at 70% on both, or 70% in Reedsville and 50-something in Danville. So,
Okay. So now that you've taken a step back from Danville, is there something that you see that you wish you would have done, or something that you want to now, like phase two it? I always hear like RV parking or something like down the road, like we'll phase two that. You know, is there any type of needs that are out there that you're getting from, you're at 70%? Is there any customers out there? Hey, you guys do boat parking or RV or?
yeah, I mean, so like as far as the build out goes, I really wouldn't change too much about it. I think we went pretty basic, but I think that's the beauty of conversions. You know, we kind of just leaned into the building. Everybody knows it was Kmart there. So they walk in, they see the Kmart tile floor. They're not like, wait, what is this? You know, they all know what it is. So as far as the overall renovation, we did do white doors in there, which now we do blue doors. So it's white doors with white trim, which looks really, really clean.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of bland.
Overwhelming?
It's overwhelming. Yeah, you just open this up, it's just all these white doors. You feel like it's kind of movie set. So I would change that and change the door color, which we do now. We do blue colored doors to match the city storage blue.
That's so nice.
That is a nice blue.
I love it.
I know. That's a nice color. Honestly, like if I were to go back, we had an opportunity to buy some of those out parcels.
Okay.
And I probably would have done that as part of this whole project. Because that was early enough before you know, Panda Express and Popeyes were looking there. So at the time, you're just buying vacant land, knowing that you can outparcel it. Hindsight's always 2020. It's like now we see a Panda Express, and I would have loved to have some kind of ground lease or something there. But, you know, we're looking at some of our projects now and trying to get more strategic about the outparcels. Because they can be great, and you can get good leases like a Biscuitville.
Nice.
But the flip side of that is it's got to be in the right market. It's got to meet the demographics of some of those bigger triple net credit tenants. So that's probably the only thing I'd change. We have the parking on the side to where we could do some boat and RV.
Okay.
We'd have to figure out some gates and fences because there may be a egress path or something there, but we can add some of that. Man, overall, it was for our second project ever. Wasn't too bad.
All right, so it sounds like a lot of great things happening at Danville. Let's talk about, so it's you and John. I'm still trying to wrap my head around just you and John not only doing one project, another project
Where's
as well.
Where's your faith in us?
I'm not saying
Cameron?
there's no faith. I just know what goes into it all. It's more impressive than anything.
Well, thank you.
That you guys take it on your first one and go, hey, you know, I got enough confidence to do a second one.
Yeah.
You know, and this one's even bigger.
Yep.
So it's just, okay, so let's go over construction timeline, because at the same time, you still have Reedsville going on, and now Danville is under construction.
Yep.
How did that timeline pan out here? Like, especially now you have a traveling super that's got to go between both.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a challenge. So we hit some lending challenges when we took down Danville. And so we had a couple of months where we were working on lending for the construction financing. We could have done it faster than we did, which I'm still proud of it. We converted it in about 10 months, I believe.
Dang.
With a 3-month timeline in there. So like the total timeline was about 13 months, about 13, 14 months, right? From takedown, there's always an internal conversation. Is it from when Nomad buys it, or is it when Elm Builders starts construction, right? Yeah. So it was about a 14-month project overall. Realistically, it was about 10 months of construction. I think John and I found a really nice rhythm early on, and we were working, you know, he pretty much would go up to that area, and that was another beautiful thing about Reedsville and Danville being close is he would go check on Reedsville for the morning, and he'd be in Danville for the afternoon, and then he could come home, right?
Oh, nice.
And he would pass by the project in Greensboro on his way home. So like those three, like geographically worked really, really well together.
Yeah.
So all in about 10 months of construction, maybe a little bit longer, but you know, we talk about it all the time, the power of conversions, right? So when we were buying Danville, across the street and to the corner, there was a vacant lot, and it had a U-Haul sign on it, like coming soon, self-storage, U-Haul. We're like, oh, gosh.
Oh, boy.
So that made us nervous, right? Because U-Haul's
huge.
U-Haul. I mean, they don't play.
Yeah. Was it ground up?
It was ground up.
Okay.
So it was just a vacant lot. It was ground up, right? And so I'd heard from somebody else that U-Haul had actually looked at the Kmart to buy it.
Oh, yeah, because
They've done some Kmart. They've done some conversions, right? And so I guess they said they didn't want it, whatever reason, they were going to build new. So there's a sign like right around the corner from us that says new construction, self-storage coming soon. That's all it said. There was no dates on it, right? So that made us nervous. During our due diligence process. And so when we had it under contract, I actually reached out to U-Haul. So Drake and I would do some creative like digging and trying to find people's contacts. So we found the director of acquisitions in the Southeast for U-Haul. Got his cell phone number in my phone. Yeah, bro. Yeah. So we found his number and I called the guy up. I'm like, hey, dude, you don't know me, but we're buying the Kmart on Riverside Drive. And he's like, oh, yeah, I know that building. Yeah, well, you know. I'm like, does U-Haul want to buy it? He like, we're in a contract. I knew you guys were building. I was really fishing for some info.
Okay.
I was like, are you guys building over there? Or it was twofold. I was going to say, hey, if you want to buy our facility, we were going to flip it to them.
That makes sense.
Because they're going to build right around the corner.
Yeah, I like that.
Or trying to get some information about like, when are you guys breaking ground? Like, how big are you building? And so on the phone, he was like, yeah, we're going to be breaking ground soon. This was back in 2022.
Oh, okay.
2022. And so he says, yeah, we're going to be breaking ground soon. We're going to have about 100,000 square feet, 120,000 square feet.
Oh,
that's big. Yeah, that's a big site. Huh? Yeah. So we're like, gosh, we went back and forth. I mean, that made us pretty nervous, right? So we had a lot of deep conversations during due diligence of, look, we tested the market on an underwriting standpoint to say, if they come in with 120,000, what's that going to do to the saturation? We tested a lot of things. Ultimately decided that we believed in the growth of Danville and we believed in everything else. And that was new construction.
Yep.
So they were going to break ground, he said, maybe late 2022. Or no, it was early 2023. And we were already like going in 22.
Okay.
So he's like, we're going to break ground in 23. It was like, okay, well, even if they break ground, they're looking at 14 to 18 months. I mean, 14 like minimum for new construction. Like, what would you say for new construction, commercial?
I mean, that you're on it because site work alone. That is,
Site
Especially
work
you gotta
alone.
Bring in utilities.
They had to, and it was like the site was like on the side of a hill.
Oh, come on.
And so I talked to like a lot of people in Danville. I was trying to just get market info, and I actually talked to one of the guys that developed Riverside Drive, the road, way back in the day. Okay. This guy was like a big time developer, and I don't know why he took my call. I honestly don't know why he took my call, but he's like, oh my gosh, yeah, I know Riverside Drive. I developed this, I developed that. He developed the Sam's Club. He did all this stuff. I mean, huge developer.
Yeah.
Super cool guy. He just gave me all kinds of information, and I told him, I said, yeah, we got this Kmart under contract. He's like, oh my gosh, it'll be a great site and this and that. And then I said, what do you know about the U-Haul? And he said, I know that whole Riverside Drive. And he's like, that is probably the most challenging site on Riverside Drive from a bedrock standpoint.
Oh, dang.
He said they're going to have a brutal time with utilities.
Okay.
So anyways, long story short, we ended up pulling the trigger on it. Closed on Danville because we said, even if they start construction in the spring of 23, we're going to beat them to market. And we're going to be well leased up before they even open their doors. I am happy to report that as of today, which is June 16th or 17th, 2025, they have yet to break ground on that U-Haul.
Is the sign still there? Do you know?
The sign is still there, and it is weathered as can be.
Okay.
So, like, they still haven't broke ground. They still haven't broke ground.
Interesting.
So at the time, like, that was a huge thing. We did our due diligence. We ran the market scenarios. We knew the risks. We talk a lot about risks in this business, but then we also talk about calculated risks. We understood what was happening there. We understood that we were going to beat them to market, and we took a risk. We took a chance with our investors, and they still have yet to break ground.
Yeah.
So
how long was that due diligence period?
We had 90 days due diligence.
Okay.
So we had 3 months, and then we had to close 30 days later. And I think we got one extension. So we had about 4.5, 5 months to do that. So, but I think it was, it was scary in the moment. But
what a crazy. It's one of those things that you can worry about it, but like you don't know if it's actually going to happen.
Yeah.
Right? So what's the point of worrying about it?
Yeah, and again, not that we're just out here like, who cares? Like, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. We're not like, that's not it at all. But it's like, look, sometimes you have to say, here are the risks. We're being calculated. We look at, hey, what's our all-in costs? Our all-in cost was going to be a fraction of theirs because it was a conversion. We were getting a good price on the building. We feel like you have to take calculated risk, and we feel like that was. And here we are. We're at, almost 60%. They haven't even broke ground yet. And so
it doesn't seem like they're going to.
Yeah. And for them, for any group, like, things have made change. That's when construction prices started skyrocketing for pipe and everything else. And I'm sure they just put the project on hold. But for us, we were already deep in the conversion. I mean, we were opening, several months later. And so, yeah, that was kind of one of those, like, from due diligence to like actually building it out,
Yeah.
and then as well as timeline. You know, we were 10 months in, and that was with a delay in construction, and they are
crazy.
14. Real 14. If they built that thing in 14 months, that would be impressive.
Yeah.
More like 18,
Yeah.
realistically.
I mean, with the site work is just, especially if you're saying this on a hill.
I mean, it was like this, and they're going to do multi-story, like
Really?
multi-layered, like walkout basement-ish style construction, which is cheap.
Gosh. It'd be crazy if the guy from acquisitions, the one that you reached out to, then reaches out to you in a couple of years and is like, "Hey,
Can we buy that?
can we
Kmart?
buy your building?"
We'll sell it to him. Yeah.
Gosh,
You never
that'd be
know.
So crazy if that was full circle. Like, oh,
Yeah, you never know. So, anyways, that was just another like story in that market, and it's been a great project. I mean, every project from construction to buying, there's risks involved, and investing. There's risks involved, right? I mean, there's risks in driving to the office every day on the roads. Like, you know, you've got to assess it. You've got to use the data at your fingertips. You've got to build the right team, and you've got to just say, hey, we know we can accomplish this. And we know the risks, but we believe in ourselves. We're betting on ourselves to put this product out there.
okay, so I'll put you on the spot right now. So
Put me on the spot.
Rack and stack, out of all the conversions that Elm has done, where does Danville fall?
In terms of
In terms of just like
challenge,
yeah, I guess out of like one where you could step back and you're just like, oh yeah, like an enjoyable project, one that was just, I would guess the most enjoyable.
I would probably rank Danville at number 1,
Really?
if not number 2. Yeah,
You had a drive aisle. Wasn't that fun?
we didn't have a driver. No, that
No,
was
and
challenging.
we've-
Yeah, no, that was challenging. Danville was one of those projects that, you know, talking about it now, it's like, what were we thinking? It was just me and John. Like, how crazy is that? But we found a nice rhythm. I mean, we had great subs that we worked with. I mean, you know, I don't remember every nitty gritty issue that we had. We had them, of course, like everything. But it's one of those that you take a step back. I mean, literally take a step back from the building. It's absolutely gorgeous. Sign is up. It's lit at night. It's like, man, we are so proud of Danville.
Yeah.
It's a massive facility. And as far as ease, you know, we've already kind of done deep dives into Macon and Burlington. And, you know, we had a lot of challenges with Macon. We had a lot of challenges with, you know, Burlington, Kernersville, you just wrapped up, you know, a lot of challenges there. So as far as like, here's the plans and here's the final product, I'd say it's probably in the top 3 of easiest, if not the top 2.
Ooh,
So
Okay.
it's my on the spot answer.
dang. I love it.
And it's not just a high rating because we're talking about Danville. It's truly my opinion.
Okay.
So
I mean, I can, I can see that.
you got to go see it now.
I'm
now
going
you got to
to,
go
yeah,
see it.
yeah.
It's a beautiful
I
site.
mean, I'm going to Caesars, so
See it, but-
I'll stop by.
You got to see it before we sell it to U-Haul.
yeah, right? I'm going to go see if that sign's still there. So I just take a picture of that.
Oh, it'll be there. I guarantee it.
All right, so as we had now unpacked Danville completely, are there any other standout moments, funny stories, things that you can think of that just really bring that project to life a little bit more?
Yeah, one comes to mind. All right, so last story for Danville. This is a hilarious story. So,
All right.
are you ready for it? Okay,
I'm
all
prepared.
right, he's ready. So we're building out Danville.
Okay.
We got doors and hallways going in there. It's a conversion, so you know you always have this funky areas and rooms that you got to work around in, right?
Yeah.
It's not just a new construction where you design it and then all your metal comes from your supplier and it all fits. You might need a couple of extra pieces, right? So here in Wilmington, we have a facility that we converted back in 2016, our City Storage North,
Okay.
and we had extra building material there, and we had 4 units full of liner panels, some structural steel studs.
At North.
At North, yeah.
Okay.
It was 3 units, maybe. It was 3 or 4 units. And so we had them unrentable there at North, and like we couldn't rent the units because they're full of like we had boxes of screws. I mean, we had if I say we had one of these little 5/8 sheet metal screws, bro, we had thousands of them. I don't know what happened.
It makes sense. So North is the mezzanine. So I mean, like,
Exactly. North was the mezzanine. So we had these little clips, we had screws, we had all this stuff. My dad had been saying, like, I want to get these units cleaned out so we can rent them. And every time we'd go in there, we'd look at it, and it's so overwhelming, right? We call the scrapper guy, and he's like, yeah, that's too much work. Like, 100%. He's like, yeah, it's too much work for me. So anyways, long story short, we're building out Danville. My dad had the idea, is like, hey, what if we got all that material from North up to Danville and just use it up there? Because we were talking through this back corner.
Yeah.
I was like, great, let's do that. So we rent a U-Haul truck here. Speaking of U-Haul,
Yeah, I know.
we rent a U-Haul truck, and we had our manager at North. We had me, Josh Blackham, our asset manager, Drake, our city storage manager, city storage North manager. We pulled the U-Haul up, and we spent a whole day loading material.
Oh my god!
It was a summer day.
It was a field day.
Yeah, it was literally a summer day. So we're sweating, loading all this metal into this truck, bro. We're just loading all of this. You know, Drake is our director of acquisitions.
Yeah.
But at the time, everybody at Nomad and Elm were wearing we were wearing all different hats. So it was like, hey, Drake, we need help to load this material. He's like, let's go, dude.
Yeah.
I'm there. He's loading metal. So anyways, load down this U-Haul. And we rented it for 2 days. So loaded the first day, and then Josh and I left the next morning. And so I'm following Josh in the city storage truck, Josh's truck now.
Yeah.
We're ripping up to Danville, Virginia, and that truck was loaded down. Like it was probably a little too loaded, but it was loaded down.
Past capacity.
It was at capacity.
on the edge.
Let's say at capacity for the podcast. Anyway, so there's a back road from Durham, North Carolina to Danville, Virginia, but it kind of takes you through these little windy roads, these little mountain country roads. And so we're riding through there, and Josh there was a pretty decent turn. Well, a lot of the metal shifted in there.
Oh gosh.
And so the U-Haul starts riding. It wasn't like really, really kilter. I mean, you could see that it was leaning a little bit, you know. So we're like, oh gosh. And then some guy pulled out right in front of Josh, and he had to slam on the brakes on this thing.
Oh
like
my gosh.
the whole ride up there was 3.5 hours, was super stressful. Yeah, it's 3.5 hours from here. So I'm following him, and he's ripping this huge U-Haul full of all this metal building material. And so anyways, we get to Danville, back up the truck there. John was on site. He had a bunch of guys come there and help us unload it. We opened the door. By then, the truck was leaning pretty decent. Full tilt. Yeah, full tilt. We pull in, rolling in like this. And John's like, what in the world is going on? So we opened the door up. All the stuff had fallen. Boxes of screws. I mean, screws everywhere, metal everywhere. And so anyways, we start unloading all the material. It was in the middle of July. And
oh my gosh.
So middle of July, I was in the truck hauling out metal, passing it. I got heat poisoning. This is a true story, by the way. This is a true story. I'm in there. I'm loading material. This is metal, dude. We have so much of it. I started to feel so sick. I'm like, I need to step out for a minute. I walk out. Ended up throwing up. I mean, I felt sick as a dog, dude. I almost had a heat stroke out there.
Oh my
I had to go to the Sheetz gas station. I was getting water, dumping it on me, sitting in the bathroom in there. It was bad. So they finished unloading the truck. I came back 30 minutes later, and they're like, where have you been? I'm like, dude, I feel sick. I had to cool down. And anyways, it ended up being fine. But it was a good day. It was a really good day.
That was a good day.
Then we turned around and rode home. Oh no, we dropped the U-Haul off in Reedsville because there's a U-Haul drop off there. So dropped it off there, and then Josh and I ripped back in the city storage truck. So
gosh, that's funny.
Just retelling that is gosh, we've come a long way, first of all. But just the absolute grit of this team to just do whatever it takes. That's a core value of ours, as you know.
Yes.
That is whatever it takes. Hey, Drake, we need help loading this metal. I'm on it, dude. Puts the hat backwards. He's loading material. Josh, we need you to drive this U-Haul up to Danville, Virginia to help me drop it off. He's like, absolutely. What time are we leaving? I'm in the truck. John's pulling movers. Besides me getting sick over the sheer heat in that box van.
Just sweating in the box.
Just sweat, dude. You can wring out your shirt, and it was rough. But it just speaks to the team. I'm just so beyond proud and humbled by our team here. And that was our second project, and there's many, many more stories of that. So
yeah, I will say that's one thing I've fell in love with about Elm is the teamwork. No matter what it is, there's plenty of times where Kyle and I have gone over to 717 to do some heavy lifting because you just need it at the time, and everyone is willing to help out.
Yeah,
so that's always been. And that just goes to show you what the type of culture you've brought into this this workspace. So it's awesome.
And I am happy to report that we used up all that metal there, and it never went to any other job site. That is
really good.
And we got 4 units that we could rent at North. So it was a win-win.
That's a win-win.
Yeah, and we're telling the story now, and we're having a laugh about it. So
true.
It was a great time. Can you picture that whole thing, though?
Yes, I can.
You can picture that whole thing.
Oh my! And I feel bad for you. As you're in there just sweating.
Yeah.
Just wondering, oh my gosh, I'm not feeling that great.
Yeah.
And it just probably continues to get worse and worse as you just keep unloading.
I'm like, oh, maybe I'm hungry. I don't know. Maybe.
And you just
we've only had Biscuitville today, so maybe I need some more food. And bad time.
That could have been bad.
It was bad.
God.
Oh, goodness.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on the deep dive of Dan. I mean, obviously, you had to join us. It would have been just you and John because you and John were the only ones working here at the time. So that's crazy. But thank you once again for joining us on the Elm Elaborates podcast. This is episode 19, season 2.
Yep.
And we will see you next time.
Thank you, sir.